Hello everyone, my name is Christian. Welcome back to Tekpon. Today our guest is Baargav from Chargebee for Startups team. Hello.
Hey Christian, great to
Very
be
nice to
here.
meet you. Please tell us what
Likewise.
is Chargebee.
Yeah, to give you a quick overview of what Chargebee does, Chargebee is a subscription billing and revenue management platform for fast-growing SaaS companies. And it's not limited to SaaS companies. Anybody who has a subscription or recurring billing model can make use of Chargebee's platform to automate a big chunk of their operations or, optimize, a big part of it.
Okay. What does Chargebee for Startups actually do?
Right. So Chargebee for Startups is the team that we have where we work with the early stage startups.
Mm-hmm.
And if you go on our pricing page, we do have our launch plan, which is the most basic plan, which is useful for startups to get started, right? And uh, that plan can be accessed by startups for free. It's the $99 per month plan, and they
Mm-hmm.
can get started with Chargebee for free until they hit their first 100K in revenue, $100,000 in revenue.
Oh
So
wow.
that's the plan we have, and so that they can start automating some part of it, their invoicing, recurring invoicing, and all that, and yeah, from there, take it from there.
And what did you say are your top three features? Let's say top five features, top top features.
Right. So one of the most basic things, like I said, in the launch plan is to be able to automate your recurring billing and invoicing. Right.
Mm-hmm.
So when you have, say, three customers or five customers, and you have a recurring model and you have to invoice them every month, right? It's fine for you to do it manually or send out a Stripe link or something like that. But the moment you don't have to hit a million users, or you don't have to hit 1,000 users. The moment you have 20 users, 30 users, it becomes a big hassle to send this manually and manage all this
Mm-hmm.
manually. So that's where you can set up certain processes and workflows, where once the subscription is created, you can set some workflows in place so that beautiful tax compliant, based on the region, invoices can be generated automatically to for your customers, for any SaaS businesses customers.
Mm-hmm.
And you can also integrate it with multiple tools so that you ensure reconciliation with your accounting books like QuickBooks and Xero. All these are in place. So, and apart from that, the main thing is, even before you get there, right? So there's so many options for you to create your product catalog, where you can create your plans, and as you see, right, multiple tiers of plans and all that, and add-ons, coupons. So your in-house development team does not have to take out time to do this, because in the initial days it may appear easy to develop this in-house, but as you keep scaling up, it becomes even more challenging, right? And there will be so many cases or scenarios that you would not have foreseen also. So a startup that's at 1K MRR has a different set of requirements, and you may
Yes.
not even foresee what you will need at 10K, 20K, or 100K MRR, right? And that's
Mm-hmm.
when you're like, oh, this becomes very hard to go back and fix the code for that, and that takes time away from your core product, right? So ideally, if you are able to get all these ancillary things done by tools that are in place to do this well, it takes a lot of burden off you to kind of focus on your core product.
Yeah, it makes sense. Can you
Yeah.
share with us some of your integrations? I looked at their website and you have a lot, but the main ones that people use.
Yeah, so the main stack that, so the inflow of subscription usually comes from tools like HubSpot, right? Where
Mm-hmm.
where they have subscriptions created from their CRM. So there's a straight out integration with HubSpot, and the subscriptions can be created in Chargebee. And after that, it integrates with over 28 payment gateways. So that's one of the key differentiators for Chargebee, because you don't have to rely on one payment gateway, and you may want to give your customers an option to use multiple payment gateways, and as a business also not depend on one payment gateway, right, and have a single point of failure. So the other side of it, once the subscription is created, when you want to collect a payment, it's integrated to your payment gateways,
Mm-hmm.
and once you receive the payment, invoices are generated, and you can do a reconciliation with accounting books like QuickBooks and Xero. So that that reconciliation manually takes hours of time. So now this is like the main stack, right?
Yeah.
And the flow.
Yeah.
And there's one more in between, I think would be a key integration would be with tax tools like TaxJar and Avalara, because the tax compliances are, constantly evolving. And as a SaaS company, most of them are global. So you can't keep track of the tax compliances in each country and each state of those countries, right? So
Mm-hmm.
whenever they upgrade, then, that reflects in your invoicing and it's all automatic. So the billing and the invoicing is running on autopilot.
Very, 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 very nice. Yeah. And I was curious to know if you can share with us some successful use cases, some companies, some startups that use Chargebee for startups, and I don't know how it helped them.
Right. So I'd like to add one more thing about the Chargebee for Startups program, right? While I told you about the launch plan that is available on our website for free until they hit 100K, we also have the Accelerator and VC partnership program.
Okay.
So that's where we partner with some of the key accelerators and early stage VCs to
Mm-hmm.
extend our $299 per month plan, the Rise plan, which has far more features and integrations, right? Like the ones that I was talking to you about. It
Okay.
gives you access to multiple tax regions and all that. And we extend that up to $1 million in revenue for the VC backed startups that
Wow.
until their first $1 million in revenue, right? The idea behind that is to help them set up for scale from early days. So,
Yeah.
because sometimes you may go with your initial solutions or choose to go with spreadsheets which are disconnected and all. But later on, migrating may be much harder than to set it up in your initial days, right?
Exactly.
So that's
Exactly.
something that we wanted to enable when it comes to, uh, you know, the the Chargebee for Startups program, the extended part where we have the partnerships with accelerators and VCs. So yeah, and sorry, I missed your question now. I lost my train
Some
of.
yeah, some successful use cases.
Yeah, so yeah, the reason I told you about that is like we've had customers like Airmeet using the partner coupon, which came from one of our VC partners.
Mm-hmm.
And so Airmeet has now scaled up and they are now on our enterprise plan, right? So good to know that they have started from using the free plan of Chargebee and then an enterprise customer right now.
Okay.
And, another uh, one would be Payhawk.
Mm-hmm.
So
I
Payhawk
I
also
heard of
went
them.
on to raise, yes, Payhawk also went on to raise significant amount of funding, and they have scaled up and went on to become enterprise customers as well. And apart from the startups that came from our startup program, we have some marquee customers like Freshworks,
Mm-hmm.
Calendly. Most of us use Calendly to
Yes.
schedule our meetings, right? So yeah, so Calendly is a Chargebee customer. Yeah, so these are some of the uh, key names that I could think of at the
Mm-hmm.
top of my mind.
And Chargebee monetizes this when they become enterprise customers. That's what you mean?
Not necessarily. So we do have on our pricing page, we do have multiple plans like the launch rise. Rise is the $299 per month plan that I told you about, right? So
Mm-hmm.
and you can see that changing by monthly or annual, and we have multiple currencies. So actually, these are the things that you can do with Chargebee very easily, right? What you see on our pricing page, you can set monthly, annual plans, quarterly plans, switch all these between multiple currencies and all that, which makes it super easy. So we do have our scale plan and then the enterprise plan. So like I said, the startups that come from our VC or accelerator partners get the Rise plan for free until they hit $1 million in revenue, right? And after they cross that, they get upgraded to our paid plans. So the hope
Okay.
is that
Okay.
after they hit $1 million in revenue, it shouldn't be too much of a problem for them to pay
Yes.
a
Yes.
$300
Yeah.
subscription.
I like this thinking. So you first give them something for free, and then
Yeah,
of course when they have the resources, they can pay you. Great.
absolutely, absolutely.
And is Chargebee the first one to do this? The subscription management is it the first company?
No, no.
No, no.
There, there,
That's
there
what I
are
thought.
there are other companies that have been doing this. Yes.
Hmm. So it's not the first. It was not the first one in the space.
No, no, not the first one in the space.
Okay, but I now think it's the
But
most popular.
yeah, I'm glad that it's growing pretty fast, and our product team is so good that they're constantly evolving the product and ensuring that we are able to cover as many scenarios and use cases as possible for the SaaS startups, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or subscription startups, like I said. So we're
Mm-hmm.
constantly growing there and updating our products so fast. So that's why, we've been lucky enough to grow fast.
Happy for you. And
Yeah.
can you walk us through what you do in your day-to-day job routine? So, your role at Chargebee, what do you do exactly? Do
Right.
you look
So
for new
since,
partners, or?
yeah. So that's correct. So, like I said, I'm a part of the Chargebee for Startups team, right? So, one of the key things that we have is to build accelerator and VC partnerships.
Mm-hmm.
So, one of the main things that I do is to identify who would be the next key partners that we could work with. And
Okay.
in our case, we have to also see which partners typically have more SaaS or subscription based companies,
Mm-hmm.
right? For a lot of other companies, any startup could be a potential prospect, right?
Yes.
Like,
Yes.
so for them, it's easier to partner with as many accelerators and VCs as they can. So for us, in our case, ideally we'd like to identify who are the ones that have some subscription based or SaaS companies predominantly in their portfolio, identify that and reach out to them. And yeah, like onboard these partners. That's onboarding one part of it. And then also engage with some of the key partners, right? What are the ways where we can add value from Chargebee's perspective? So there are a couple of things like, there's a community called Relay, gorelay.co,
Okay.
that's curated by Chargebee,
Mm-hmm.
where a lot of SaaS founders come together and have very very interesting discussions, right? And these are very candid conversations about how they went on to build their startups and specific aspects of it. And we also have something called Subscription Academy.
Okay.
Um, it's an academy for the subscription world, right? Because it's a growing space, and there are lots of things to learn about and upskill ourselves in. So that's something that we've started, and we also try to see, in terms of the engagement with partners, can we arrange AMAs with some of the leadership from Chargebee, where the startups from their portfolios can interact and learn from the experiences of
Ah, okay.
these people from the leadership, and get access to that learning.
Mm-hmm. And I would
So
love to
that's
also hear your backstory. So, I don't know, from the beginning of career to working for Chargebee.
right. So a big part of my career was I was previously working at startup accelerators,
Okay.
multiple startup accelerator programs, and then now I jumped onto this side at Chargebee, where I'm working with startup accelerators, right?
Ah, very
So
nice.
and the VC. So but I think one good thing for me is that I can put myself in the shoes of the people who are running these accelerator programs and all that, and kind of understand some of their pain points, and see what else can we do from Chargebee's side, right? How else
Mm-hmm.
can we add value to them? And that's the intent from our leadership also. They always want us to uh, create value first, right? As much as we can, so that like using our product is a natural consequence, right? It's a byproduct of us being out there and creating value for these people. So I think, yeah, I've been a part of multiple accelerator programs earlier, managing some of those accelerator programs, and I've also tried my hand at running a couple of startups. I've co-founded, but like they didn't go too far. So
But you're
that's
passionate
why I
about
went.
startups, as I can see.
Absolutely,
Yeah,
absolutely love spending time with early stage startups. I've been fortunate enough to work with a lot of early stage startups
that's a great
throughout my
story.
career.
Okay. What's your favorite software apart from Chargebee?
Apart from Chargebee,
A software
that's
that
an
you
interesting.
use and you'd recommend to other people, other founders, other startups.
Oh, so I use a lot of tools, right? So
Give us top 5, top 20. I don't know.
so one of the tools recently that I found was very interesting is browse.ai,
Mm-hmm.
and I actually posted about that. So that helps you if anybody is putting in details manually into a Google Sheet or an Excel, right? Like taking data from some websites and putting it here. It's a no-code data extraction tool. I mean, we
Okay.
can build out. There are a lot of people who can just build out web scrapers, but I think Browse AI is doing a good job in terms of like making it super easy, right? Like because each website is very different and giving you the ability to kind of extract data from each of them in a different way, right? Sometimes
Yes.
it could be a list of startups on a blog post, and I can so easily extract it and put it into a Google sheet. So
Mm-hmm.
that's one of them. And another thing that I love is Superhuman. I use Superhuman for my email.
Yes.
Helps me keep my inbox clean, and so that I don't miss out on some of the key emails. Right before this, it was not by intention, but just like sometimes some of the emails slip through, and we realize that oh, it was an important email, and then just jump onto it to do some damage control. Right, so that way it reduced the need for that.
And you said you worked a lot with a lot of early stage startups. Do you have any piece of advice for founders?
Well, I think there is no one thing that I could say, right? Like nothing uh, that I could think of
If there's a
at
problem
this.
or a trend that I don't know, it's not very good, so
Right. So
a pattern.
one of the one of the things I have seen, like I think most founders would already know this is initially we get too excited about the idea and think
Hmm.
about the big picture, right? And it's like trying to play level 10 of the game straight away, right? So when I'm talking to some of my known friends who are founders and all, we discuss about what could be level one instead, right? Like the simplest problem that we can solve, or the simplest feature that we can roll out, right? To start
Hmm.
with.
Yes.
And once we roll that out and you get a quick win, right? When we get a quick win, that gives us a lot of confidence, and then we expand into level two and solve the next one. So thinking about it like a game, right? And gamifying it and like going to level three, level four, level five. And before you know it, with these quick wins and the confidence building up with each of these levels bit by bit, I think before you know it, you're at level 10 solving those problems very easily. Right. So I've had this issue personally, right? Like, when I started off with my first venture that I tried, I was thinking big, but not acting small. Right. So
Yeah.
so I think that's one thing that I have noticed, and just my own learning, right?
Hmm.
So when I would probably do that, even in terms of, it need not be a venture or a startup itself, right? Any of the tasks that we take up, or any of the projects or initiatives that we try to run within Chargebee, we think about the big picture, but and then get too overwhelmed about it and perhaps not even make any progress, right? So then that's when I think we know it. I've heard Jim Quick say this, right? He says it could appear like common sense, but is it common practice, right?
Okay. Yeah.
So, so
Yeah.
like it could appear very easy to say, yeah, big one, break it into small chunks and divide it and do it and all. But are we doing it is the question. So when it comes to
Yeah.
doing it,
Yeah. Yeah. I
sometimes we
understand.
don't. Yeah,
Is
I
there
think
any?
same applies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is there anything else that you want to tell us today on the podcast?
So yeah, I mean, I know that a lot of SaaS companies follow your podcast. So happy to help out in any way we can from Chargebee's end. To add value to your journey from your early days.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you, Christian. Thank you for having me over.